Today is Monday, the 25th of July 2022, and I'm here in the illustrious company of a great and popular individual of Romain, in fact in Trinidad and Tobago. And here he is, and he's going to reveal much of his identity and other matters pertaining to this community where he lives. Okay, and there he is. So, tell me your names. What is your name?
Roy Kissoon.
Mr. Kissoon. And can you tell me what is this location? Where we are now?
5 hectares street, Romain, where I live, and this business place is on 70 Lapses Road, Romain.
Okay. So this is a village where you were born and where you were born?
No, I born in the Saroop area, and I came down here as a young boy.
Where did you born? Where?
In Saroop, a place that they now call Gulf City.
Where
I
you
used to be Palmis before in a small village.
Okay, that is...
That village had cane and coconut plantation and things like
in Gulf City?
But now called Gulf City because they get rid of the cane and the coconut.
Okay, but that is in Trinidad and Tobago?
Yes, of course. That's the Sando area.
San Fernando area. But when you were growing up, well, since you knew yourself, how was that area there where you were born?
Well, that area that I was born, it was a village with cane and coconut and the boundary to San Fernando.
Okay, that is now known as Gulf City?
Yeah.
And where did the people work there?
Well, most of the Sando people worked in big companies, have their own business, work in the oil and things like that. But we in the Romain area, or in the country where I live, our most working area was the sugar estate.
So what caused you all to move? Where did your father work?
In the borough.
But was he employed there then?
Yes, he was there.
So he was living at Gulf City?
Well, it's now called that area Gulf City, but before it was named Palmis, but it was surrounded by cane and coconut.
Okay.
It was a small village.
So that is bounded
with San Fernando.
On the north to
Yes.
San Fernando?
But from there, where we is here now is Romain. Romain started from there coming down.
So you are right now, we are right now in Romain?
Romain, yeah.
How long have you been living here?
I've been living here about 65 years or so.
Okay, but how was this place when you all came to live here? How old were you then?
Well, we had little pitch road, that road, garden. They have a lot to the side of this. There were streets that they cut out for us, and the back of it was garden all the way.
Okay, by the way, when were you born?
20th October 1943.
So that when you moved to this village here, they call Romain, what year was that? Or about?
Well, it could have been about in the 50s.
How old were you then? How old were you then?
I must have been about close to 10. Yeah.
Okay, 10 o'clock. But can you tell me, sorry, 10 years. Now, how was this village? The physical features of
this village, with a number of streets that they had, were really mud street. No gravel, very few of them had pitch.
So it was gravel road?
Well, some of them was mud.
Mud traces of mud road?
Yes.
Okay, not paved.
Not
dirt road, right? How many? Well, which was the popular street or the street?
Well, they had the southern main road, and then they had this Lapsezan road was called Peter Street because the landlord, the old man who was the owner.
Who was the owner of this place?
The Chandru.
Chandru, okay. And his name was Peter Chandru.
So his name was Peter Chandru. So this main street only because it had pitch. And the other restaurant Dude Street and things like that. So they didn't have no real name at that time.
Oh, those were traces,
Right.
unnamed traces.
Unnamed traces.
But the houses, how many houses?
They had houses, a couple of houses in every street, but we used to use the mud road to come in and out.
Okay, it was not paved, Those were not paved.
No.
Okay, but how were the houses?
The houses, most of them were carrot houses.
When you say carrot, what do you mean?
Well, there's a certain type of tree that bear a leaf called carrot, and it is very wide like a palm.
Okay.
So
It was
they
a
use-
palm.
So we know it as carrot.
Okay.
It's a tree with no branch, It's a straight tree, like a coconut tree.
Okay. So they used the
The
branches,
leaves, they use the leaves
to cover the
to
house.
cover the house.
The roof, okay. And that is known as carrot.
Carrot, yeah. They use
Once it is covered with that, those leaves, known as carrot house.
Right.
Okay. And how were the walls built and so on?
Well, some of the walls were built with, they wattle it with something they call a rose or a certain type of thing. They use a little trees that don't have branches, that go straight up like a cane.
Okay.
You clean it out and you wattle it. It cuts home. You put straight pieces and then you swing it in and out like a snake.
Okay. Those were about an inch in thickness.
Yes, some inch and a half.
And the height is about 10 feet, is it?
Yes, normally around that.
But those were stakes and sticks.
Yeah. But there was a certain type of stick that they use which is much stronger that will hold the roof.
Okay, what's the name of that?
Well, we use mangrove wood, and we use the white to wattle it. The
What do you
white
mean by
root-
wattle?
Well, to plat it up, to make it to the
You
wall.
plat it.
Yeah, to make it a wall.
Okay.
And the top, we'll use a type of tree they call a guguru tree. It has no branches. It goes just like a palm, straight up, with the guguru at the top and the leaves. But we don't use the leaves or anything. We could use the guguru to put cherry to eat. But the trunk, we will cut the top and bottom and we will use it as lots.
Lard.
Yeah,
Okay, like runners there.
runners to
On the roof.
roof, to bring the roof.
Okay. And the carrot leaves, they are plat.
Well, we have to put strips running down like regular
They are runners.
runners, and then you will have to put large
About spaced house.
spacing about, for the most about 15, 16 inches.
Inches, and then
Because the carrot, you use a string to tie it up on the house. So there is, use a piece of wood sharp, punch it, run the string, and run it through the thing. One of the stem, the leaf stem, which is the carrot stem, will rest on one runner, and the other one we will tie it on the other one, the lower one. So when you put the other leaf on top, you tie it where the stem was, and it fall on top.
so that
So it lapping coming up.
okay.
So it
So
will not leak.
these runners run horizontally, and I would say horizontally. Okay, they form a box like, okay?
Well, yes, it will be a straight running down runners, and then a cross runner.
Okay.
And the cross runner is the one we will tie the carrot on.
Okay, we'll finish with the roof there, right?
Yeah.
And how high was this house?
Well, you could depend on you, but most likely it might be about 8-10 feet high from the ground.
Okay.
And the roof, well, you will make it in a way that the water will run off and not stay.
Okay.
So you can't make it too flat.
Okay.
You will have to make it a little peak out. So the
Okay.
water run.
Now, well, let's deal with the walls now.
Right.
The walls were made with the same material.
Yes, some of it.
Some of it, okay. And these, some were diagonal and some were horizontal. That
Yeah.
is upright and
Well, and then you
cross.
plait it in between those.
When you plat it. And how did they construct the walls? Let's say, to plaster the wall with what?
Mud. There's a special type of mud we use.
And where did you get that mud?
We get that mud, well, And our community had a big hill,
A hill, yeah.
right? We call it Concord Hill.
Concord Hill, yes.
And we used to go there and bring the dirt in small containers because it was a little way from the community and the village. And we will come and they will mix it with mud, mix the mud with and we use gobar.
Okay, that is scattered down.
Yeah. So we will mix it and that is hold it together to stay on.
Okay.
And we will mix it very soft, like mortar,
Like mortar.
and then we'll plaster it and it will fit all in between the plant.
Okay.
So it will stay. And
So
you
that-
keep maintaining it like that. all
So
the
that
time.
was done inside and outside.
Outside and inside.
Okay, and that comprises the wall. Okay, those are the like the stakes that put there and the mud.
Right. It's
The
smooth,
mud is
real
like
smooth, you could
the mud is like brick then. Okay.
Yeah. But it's very smooth like a mortar and
Okay.
it
Okay.
will operate like mortar and it takes
So that mud, what color was that mud?
white.
White. So you don't have to paint it.
No.
And what about the floor and so on? Was it people?
Well, the floor will be the same thing in some cases.
Well, you say the same thing.
Well-
Board.
No. With the same mud and you level it nicely
With
and
the-
you leap it. We call it leaping.
Okay.
With the
that-
same mud.
Okay. Okay. The floor then used to be it would
Mud.
be mud
Yeah,
floor.
the wall is to be the same thing.
Okay, and they smooth it. Okay. Now, what about how did they cook?
Well, we have things they call, our fireside, we normally will call it locally a chulha.
Okay.
You can make it with one entrance, pot at the top, and they have both sides falling out, so you could make it a duaila or three.
Okay. To hold dual, I mean two pots.
Yeah, it
Three
could
one.
fit. So you make it like a L, or some you can make it like a T.
Okay.
And pot,
Okay,
the three pot could be enough.
we have a demonstration just now outside the show.
Yeah, but we have a single demonstration of a single tuner,
Okay,
just
okay.
only for one.
Now, let's look at another aspect of life growing up. The population then, you talk about the 50s, about how many people there were.
Well, we are at, right now Romain is about 11,000. But at that time it could have been about 3,000-4,000 people.
Okay. Can you tell me where Romain is situated in relation to San
Okay.
Fernando?
At the end of San Fernando, our village starts,
Okay.
Romain.
Okay.
And then it goes down to Urupu, and 5.
Okay, let's go to the east. How far in east did it go?
It goes up boundary to Hermitage and Rambut.
And on the west?
Well, the west is to the sea.
The sea.
Yeah, the Gulf of Paria.
On the north?
And the north, well, it reaches to San Fernando.
And the south?
The south is to Woodland.
Woodland. Okay. Now, how developed was this area? Because I'm seeing the remnants of a cinema. What do you call a theater?
Well, we had a cinema from the very early, maybe the 60s and things like that.
No, was it before the 60s?
Yeah, all around that time.
No, but did you know when that cinema was built?
Yes, around the 60s.
Okay. So, how a cinema could be existing in a small community like this?
Oh,
Economically?
well, people used to come from the beginning of San Fernando
Okay.
to the end.
Yeah. That's Gulf City you're talking about?
Yeah. Right, from that area down to Woodland, people used to come up because remember that was the only cinema in this vast area from Hermitage and Lamberton. So we could have still scale a full capacity that.
How many villages are there that surround this Laramie?
Maybe about 9 or 10.
10. Can you name them?
Well, we have the Gulf area.
Gulf City,
We have the Laramie, what we call Laramie, the Port Street area. We have the Hermitage area. We have the Rambut area. We have the Woodland area. We have the La Fortune area. And we have the Benvenue area. These are an old name that they had that housed Lagoon, which is close to the sea. Right? And then we have the residential area up on that end from the sea to the southern main road. Over there, the main road itself.
And Philippine was part of the neighborhood?
Well, it's within the neighborhood.
Okay.
But we as what we call the local people, we would be in our group by ourselves, planting the garden, planting.
Now, how did they, was this cinema, to survive, the population then was small. So they depended on people coming
from the outskirts.
Okay, let's come to the transportation now, during that time.
Well, there were very little number of cars, small number. They could have counted them in your hand. Very few people could have owned cars. We never had anything like bus running in our area in the early years. But bicycle and a few cars and walking. Those are the way to move
So
around.
the bicycle was the
who could help themselves? The middle people will have bicycles. The very much more wealthy ones will have car who do it for taxi work.
Okay.
But very, very rare to find people with P-cars for convenience for the family.
Okay. But cars was scarce.
Very, very scarce at that
Now,
time.
the people depended on, for livelihood, upon what they depended on.
Well, we had a very few people who have outside work like carpenter work, gardening, but most of the people used to work carry in the cane field.
Okay. And what else?
Well, in the terms of work, some will do business, have little small business.
But those are little businesses. We're looking at the principal mode of or means of livelihood. Well, okay.
Well, we had very few people who was teachers and things too,
No, well, let's go to, we talk about the principal, the principal means of earning a livelihood is agriculture.
Well, mostly agriculture.
Okay. How many estates were there around here?
Well, in our community, we only had the La Fortune community, the La Fortune estate. We had the barracks, we had the people living in houses like that, in the barrack houses. We had Lagoon, but it's the same La Fortune estate. Like many other parts of the rural area, they have other estates, like the Duncan Village and other places.
Okay, can you name the estates? How many estates you can remember? The surrounding estate?
Zero line mostly around the La Fortune estate. But I know Duncan Village had an estate. I know
Palmas?
No. Duncan Village had its own Union Hall estate and things like that.
Okay. But the nearest one was La Fortune.
Well, we within the La Fortune estate.
La Fortune, there was an estate known as La Fortune estate?
Estate, yeah, they had barracks and they owned a little recreation club for the people and things like that.
And did you visit a barrack?
Of course.
How it was?
A barracks was like a small flats. And then they will have a little small gallery, what we call a veranda. And they have a little place they will cook, and they will have a room or two. And then they had the back, they could do what they want to stay and relax or whatever.
They have a what?
The back of the barrack.
Okay, there was a space there.
Yeah, so there's a good street at the front, the barrack there, and then the back open space, so they could have a little backyard or whatever.
Oh, okay, but how many barracks did they have here?
Well, they used to have them in trees.
Yeah.
Apartment.
3 apartments?
Yeah. There were quite a lot, and then in the earlier part, they had the one that made up with either bricks or whatever. But lately then they start to have houses in the morning a lot.
Okay, so the bar gave way to houses.
Yeah.
So is there a housing scheme here?
Well, after they get rid
Of
of
the
all these barracks, and most of them, they start making development, cut out houses, occupy part of the Keene area,
And what,
and make houses. And
what that area is known as?
well, they say the scheme. they call
The
it,
scheme, the housing scheme.
Scheme houses, you know.
Romain housing scheme, is it?
Well, not only the upper part, but mostly where the estate.
Okay, the estate housing scheme.
Yeah.
So the people who dwell in the barracks, they occupy the lots.
After a time when they started to separate them, because the three people, they get inconvenient because of children and things like that. So they try to separate them and put one person to maybe a 5,000 square feet lot.
Okay.
So everybody will be a little spacey.
Okay, so they were given lots,
Lots,
estate or
and
whatever.
yeah.
But okay, you said the nearest is La Fortune estate.
Well, we live within that area.
Okay, so the people more or
The
less.
Romain area have La Fortune. That's the name of it.
Where did your parents work?
Well, my parents used to work. My father used to work in the borough in San Fernando
Okay.
as a laborer. And my mother used to work in the La Fortune estate.
Doing what?
Well, the season she will cut plants.
When you say the season, that is.
Well, a rain season and a crop.
The crop is the reaping season.
Right.
And the season is.
The rainy season where they plant
Right.
the cane back where they have to take it. Now, after a certain 5 years, they allow the cane to grow back up out of where they cut. And then they will, about 5 years time, they will plow it up
Replant it.
and replant it.
Well,
Fresh
it
plant.
does not yield after 5 years, you know.
You know, so the,
So what they do, they plow the land
right.
and replant them, replant the
But in
land.
those early days, they used to have agricultural things planted too within the cane. A short crop. So when they get rid of that, the cane.
You're talking about the estate,
the estate area. Well, there's where the people used to
that
work.
intercropping.
Yeah.
That is.
And then in some areas they used to have the buffalo, the orange, and you know they had other things in the land.
So, okay, you talk about the estate land. They
Yeah,
not
estate
only
land.
grew cane, they reared animals
Right.
and they had fruit, they planted vegetables and so on. the
Right.
estate,
Small short too.
short-term crops. And they sold it to whom?
Well, the people themselves will sell who working and it will get, you know, so it's a way that they get something to add to the
Okay,
the
so that,
food list.
okay, so they never had to pay for that.
No.
Okay. Now let's go to, you remember what was the mode of transportation then?
Well, it was-
Sugar cane from the field to the weighing scale and then to the factory.
Well, the company used to provide mules
News,
and
yeah.
mule carts and things like that.
Okay.
So in the crop, they will have the young fellas who don't have work or people who could manage going to the fields where after they have it cut, they will load up and come back to the derrick. We have something that they take the cane off there,
With the weight and
weight and put it into the carriage.
what carriage you had there?
With train. We used to have train and lines and carriage.
Where that was, where did it run? From where?
And well, no matter from which estate, but they take it straight to Uzi, where the factory is
factory, okay.
in the southern area.
But where did the train line or the carriages?
Most of the train line is where we have the ring roads them now.
Okay, doing it,
They
okay.
just develop it into roads, take off the lines or whatever. There were bridges, there were foundations. So all they had was to do was to neaten it up and pave it.
Okay, let's go now to your school days. Okay, which school did you go to?
Then venue Presbyterian.
But your parents, were they born in Trinidad?
Yes, my parents born in Trinidad, but their parents born in India.
And what was her father's name?
My father's name was Kissoon. Timor.
Timor. And you don't remember your grandparents?
No, I didn't see anyone of my
And your mother, what's her name?
Who?
Your mom?
No, my mother name was Roy Kissoon.
Okay, but they were born right here?
Yeah.
Romain?
My mother and father born here in Trinidad.
And they were married, huh? They were married here.
Yeah.
So how many children did they have?
Children have been 7.
Who's the biggest?
Roy Kissoon.
Where is he?
But he's died now.
No, but, okay, but did he go to school?
Yes, he went to San Fernando boys.
Okay, by that...
Because he grew up in the boundary of Fernando.
Okay, he grew up in Gulf City.
Yeah.
What is now? Okay, so he walked.
Yes.
And it's, well, what he became afterwards, after he didn't school?
Well, he was a building contractor.
Building contract. And the other child was who?
The girls and them were no professional. They after school, they got married and
yeah, but were they born in this village?
Yeah.
Okay, you have that.
2 or 3 of them, well, about 5 of us born down in the Palmist area.
Okay.
But the village was Palmist then before it became Gulf City.
Okay.
And only one of my brothers who born in Romain.
Okay. So you have so you could have said and you grew up in Gulf City?
No, not really. It was fun because in my early days we started in Palmist, not Gulf City. Gulf City only come in the late after.
No, but Gulf City was renamed. I mean...
No.
Palmist was renamed Gulf City. Is that so?
Yes, that area.
So you all went to the school here. What's the name of the school?
Benvenue Presbyterian.
Okay. So you had 2 other brothers, you said?
But in my early days, I went to Canaan. I remember I came here about 10 years.
Well, you were the Canaan Presbyterian school there, but was the school built yet?
Well, we didn't come to Romain yet.
Okay.
When I was about 7 to 10 years.
So how far was it? How long did it take you to reach walking?
Distance? Well, now we live close to the school when I came to the Romain area.
No, I'm not talking about...
When I was down there, it was about nearly a half mile.
Half mile to walk?
Yeah. From there to Duncan Village.
Okay, that's where Kenyan Presbyterian School is. So what class did you leave school in?
I reached 7th standard here.
And after, what happened?
After I went to technical.
Technical school?
Yeah.
Okay, and were you employed? Then?
Yeah, I was working at the PTSD and the early.
What year was that, if you remember?
40 years. About 40 years.
1948?
About 40 years.
40 years?
Yeah.
No, when you started? As what?
Well, I started at a stores, man, cleaning up.
You're talking about PTSD?
Yeah, PTSD.
Trinidad Public Transport System? That bus transport?
And after that, I become working in the stores. I was a shop steward, working with the union, and,
but,
started to move myself up.
Okay, what caused you now to go to technical?
Well, they were taking tradesmen from all different places, and I was chosen from the PTSD branch.
PTSD, okay. So you went to technical and trained in what field?
The new technical they built on the highway.
No, trained in what field?
Mechanic.
Okay. So you're a mechanic, is it?
Yes.
Okay. And after, what happened?
Well, they had either they was narrowing the staff or something, and about 500 of we get laid off. After that, I started to work with a company called Grand Soul. It's a small oil company, but very popular in Chile, and selling parts. So I was working in the stores there.
Okay.
So after that, after they closed down because of they get bought out from another company.
They were taken over.
Yeah. They decided that they wouldn't keep too many of the same people because the company who
So you-
take over had the same kind of
So you
people.
felt
So I
casual
was a
treated
victim
out?
there. So I started to work as a fisherman aboard a boat. I
After
didn't-
you were retrenched from?
Yeah, from Grand Sol.
Yeah.
And
You bought a boat, is it?
yeah, and I was doing fishing, me and a guy, and after I got this work
Yeah.
after I leave bus, I went to the fishing, then I got the job at Grand Sol. And after I leave Grand Sol, when they close up, I sold out the boat and things like that. And I went straight into the politics, started to follow up the guys and things, the top guys, others. There was another neighbor who was a councillor, and I used to be around with him. And then I get
What did you start to follow? What?
politics.
Oh, you became political.
Yeah. Then I become close to the MP of the area.
Yeah.
After a little while, I got this job to run the unemployment relief program,
Okay.
the URP.
Yeah.
And I used to employ at least 200 people per month.
Okay.
And at 10 days, well, that's the thing. And
Okay, we were talking to. In fact, I was talking to Roy Kissoon, who has been called to do other things. And here I am going to look at his business establishment here. So this is his business establishment. And we were speaking a while ago about a chulha. Well, this is the chulha that the people from India invented. That is a fireside. There's a pot on it. So we are now going back. So Mr. Kissoon is here. So there's Mr. Kissoon again. Yeah, we had read this, the last thing we spoke about. Where did we stop?
by where after the boat and the politics, we get in it.
Oh, you got into politics and you what? That led you to what?
Well, I keep so close to the politicians and that they gave me this job to run the URP in the area. So I employ people and I give them the area to work until they wanted a council for the area. They choose me and it was very simple and easy for me because I had already known all the poor people, which is the people that go out to vote more than...
For what area? For what area?
For the La Fortune.
So you were chosen as a candidate?
As a candidate.
A local...
For the local government,
But did you win that election? Did you win it?
Of course. It had 3 of us in the contest and I came out victorious.
Okay, so for how many years did you
About 7 years.
perform? 7 years. And after that, What did you do?
Well, after that I retired. I stayed in my business with my children.
Okay, but you talk about business. What business you had?
I had a shop, we had a bar. We get rid of the shop and make it into a...
So this is the bar we are here in now?
Yes, we make it the other shop area to a food area.
Okay,
Food.
Okay. Is that sort of cafe like?
Yeah,
You sell over the counter food?
yeah, yeah.
Okay. So, is it
Yeah.
rented out? Is it rented out?
It is?
Is it rented out there?
Yes.
Okay. It's not a food court.
Not a food court, but it's a food hut where you have...
Food hut. Okay. Now, so you are now on retirement. But before that, preceding your being a counselor, what voluntary work did you do in this community?
Well, within the time I was working as a young guy, I used to run some 3-table all fours among all the bars in Laramie. And then I started as the 6th table on a Sunday. I was on the board at Sohal.
You talk about the all fours competition?
Yes, all fours competition.
Yes, okay.
And then after I moved out from that, I was with the Sohal board. I got a...
What is Sohal? What is
Sohal
Sohal?
is a special school from the Catholic board that they teach children who not as bright as the other children.
But they were adult?
Yes, it's like a college.
Oh, it's a college? Okay.
You learn things to read and write, and you learn practical...
Practical, like joinery?
Whatever trade...
Okay, plumbing, plumbing, electrical, and so on. So you are a member of that board?
Yeah. And after the school as a counselor, I was very helpful to the Belvedere school, so I got an award over there. I got an award from Sohal. I got an award for the temple. I was there from the very, very beginning.
So tell me about the temple life, your temple life. That's a religious life.
Yes. So, well, we make sure that when we started to build, well, I told you my brother was a contractor, so he was the one who built the temple. But hundreds of people donate money, hundreds of people who help do manual work, and but we was there.
So you were there for what year? For what many
From
years?
the very beginning when it started, because if I am this age now, and it's 50 years, maybe I was one of these young guy who could do work,
So you were...
So I and my brother, and I tell you, hundreds of people help in different ways.
So you are a social worker? You are a social worker?
All the way.
You spoke about your mother working in the estate. But did you have any experience in working in the estate?
Only when I got to help her.
Help her do what?
Whatever she used to do, weeding, the small cane, when they're growing up, or cutting plant to plant back again.
That is the estate?
Yeah.
So children were allowed to help parents?
Yes, the parent, even up to now, when they had it.
Okay, but
we closed.
Did they grow rice around here?
Yes, in woodland. And we used to plant rice too.
Where?
In woodland.
In woodland?
That's the Oropuch Lagoon.
That is rented land?
Yes.
Okay. So, and rice alone?
Well, on the season you plant rice, which is the rainy season, and the crop season is when there's sunlight all the way. You plant watermelon and bodi and whatever, cucumber and things
vegetable,
like that.
shortcome vegetables.
Yeah.
So the land was used year round?
Year round, yeah.
If not rice?
And for
Short
6
crops.
months you deal with rice and the other.
And then you have the hilly lands, that is...
Well, we don't have hill rice down here.
No.
Because
But
we
you
live
can
in a
talk
swamp
about
area.
the cane, sugar cane do not grow And the swampy areas, what I
But the lagoon was in the swampy area. The much higher places was the cane
Yeah,
area.
the more elevated areas, they grew sugar cane.
Right.
Okay. But did you all have sugar cane? Did you all grow
No,
sugar
we was not have cane farm.
So you only...
Yeah. We did our work on the outside, plus our own private little garden.
private garden
Kitchen garden. All that.
and rice fields.
But we used to plant rice for our own benefit. We never sell that.
Okay. But tell me, this is the only business you had, or you had other business?
No, we only had the shop before. We had this thing here. We had the bar, and we also had a place where they do this more than gambling and roulette and things.
Roulette and so on.
Things like that, yeah.
So you right now, you are pensioner.
Yes.
But how, growing up, did you all have difficulties in growing up? Poverty?
Well, we from a poor environment, right? Because they were laborers, the pay, remember the pay was small, but food was cheap. You know, so we used to survive. We had our...
I would assume you had a big house.
Well, yes, but as I tell you, carrot house we started, and then we started with a little...
But where you all slept? Did you all sleep on the floor, the earth?
We did sleep on floor at a time before we get bored and slap.
But you slept on the earth then, on the...
And then we make mattresses. I could make mattress.
How long after? Well, how old were you then?
Well, we were all around the 30, 40 years ago, you know. Because we didn't take
No, well,
much,
of course there is
we didn't take long to develop.
to
The
develop.
time.
But then you all constructed your own or made your own mattress.
House, yeah, things like that. Because my two brothers were big.
Okay, so you all...
We all used to start to live in one house. So it was big. It was a big large house.
But I'm talking about, okay, you all slept first on the earth, right?
Right.
But,
But after, not very long after we leave Palmis,
yeah,
or Gulf View, or we want to call it,
yeah.
we started much higher. We
Okay.
did the more.
What I'm talking about, when did the mattress, when you all introduced the mattress, how old were you then?
About close to 15 years.
15 years. So where you all, who made the mattress?
I can make mattress.
How did you make it?
Well, there's a special long needle. We
Yeah.
use. And we make it with fiber.
Okay, where did you get the fiber?
Well, we buy the fiber from stores. We buy
No, but what sort of fiber was it?
Coconut
Coconut.
fiber, yeah.
Okay, coconut fiber.
Yeah.
That was sold in the store.
Yeah. So we bought that, we make the thing, and when we done, I will get my sister and them to sew the sack.
The sack, that
Right,
is
and
the
then-
mattress there.
Right, and then I will put the thing, spread it out nicely,
Yeah.
and sew it with this big long needle.
Okay, but what thread did you use?
Well, them they easy to get crochet thread.
Crochet.
Yeah, a thread that is much stronger than the
Yeah.
one that we sew clothes with.
So how many people slept on one, was it big as a mattress? No,
Well, we used to make mattresses up the whole house, 2 people.
Two
We used to
people.
make 3, 4 things according to how much family and
Oh,
friends. Coming.
okay, so one mattress could have accommodated
2
about
people.
2 people.
Comfortable like now.
Okay, so you ever run out of mattresses?
Because we can make.
Huh?
And before we start making the fiber mattress, we started to make the grass mattress.
With what? Grass?
Special grass.
What's the name? Shiva grass?
Or something like that, yeah.
And you stuff it, you stuff the
Same
bag.
way.
Ah. There's a sack that is
Yeah,
stuffed.
yeah,
A sack as big as a mattress.
And we're not forgetting we used to use the flour bag
Yeah,
to
flour
make
bag.
sheets and to sew other things.
That flour
We
bag
could even wear
came,
clothes
flour
and we
bag,
could make
those are
suits and
sack,
things like
those are
that.
sack.
My brother was a sideline tailor too, you know.
Okay.
So he used to sew clothes, professional. Because my uncle used to sew for people in San Fernando, for magistrate and things like that.
Okay, what I'm asking you now, let's expand on this mattress. Okay. Now, your sheets were made out of what?
Well, it would have been cotton cloth.
Cotton.
Yeah.
From where? Where did you get it?
Well, you buy in the store or in the market.
Nobody spoke about flower bag.
Right. Well, when people started to make sheet with flour bag.
Sheet?
They make sheet to spread on your mattress.
Okay.
You wash it to get white like lily.
Okay. But that came, okay, when the flour is emptied, you whip it.
It's like the old talk.
You lose the bag, the flour bag.
Nice, neatly.
And you take about 2 to make a sheet, is it 2?
Yeah, 2, 3, 4 has much.
4.
Yeah, to make it a
but
side of
flour
mattress.
bag, the one sack, how many pounds?
Those are 100 pounds stuff.
So it will be fairly large, the bag really large and spread it out.
So when you buy one of that, remember our family was a little biggish.
Yeah.
So we buy one of that, we could get the cloth.
Yeah.
Then I could make mattresses. And my brother was a carpenter. So we didn't have no real hard life, although we was poor.
Okay. So you graduated from the floor to
Till bed.
what kind of bed was that?
Well, board bed you have paid till it is board.
A board? Well, like a settee like?
Right, a settee.
And you use the sheet as a bed sheet?
Yeah.
And also coverlet?
Yeah, of
That is the
course,
floor bag?
yeah.
Okay.
And you used to make the pillow with cane arrow.
Cane arrow?
Yeah.
Okay. Pillow, I know about that. So that's the flower, right?
Right, like the pillow
Okay.
to sleep on.
But you make your own pillow, right?
Yes. So we could have helped ourselves from then to now, that we could do a lot of things for ourselves.
So the poor people improvised.
Well, once they
First
have
of all,
ambitious people
rather than
in the family,
stove,
they could
the
do
stove
things.
was recently introduced, relatively speaking, during that time, because you all spent a lot of time struggling, I would say.
Yes.
Now, so use the fireside, the chula they call it, to cook.
Yeah.
That's a earthen made fireside, right?
Right, yeah.
And of course you use the coconut fiber to make mattress, made board bed.
Yeah.
For pillow you use the cane arrow, that's the cane flower, right?
The flower, yeah.
And those are your life was then very comfortable, right?
Yeah.
And you planted your own garden. But how much you think was the wage of a worker in the estate then?
I think that's $1, $2, I think.
$2. And when your father was working the bow, how much did he get?
I really couldn't say, but I know it was maybe $2, $3 a day.
But that was enough.
Yeah. Because the food, remember a bundle of body was 10 cents.
But did anybody in your family, brother or sister, go to secondary education?
Yes, only
to a secondary school?
one of my brothers.
Okay. But you never had that opportunity?
Well, maybe I had, but maybe I was not.
No, but you didn't go?
I didn't go.
If the opportunity was there, you would have gone?
Well, as I tell you, I went, when I go to tech, I was a big guy already, so
okay,
I
right,
could think about working.
But you left school at what standard?
7.
So that's a high standard, the highest standard.
The highest standard. Yeah.
So you could have understood when they teaching physics and so on, you could have
Anything,
understood.
yeah.
Okay, that is good, I must commend you.
Because this is why after I went to tech and things like that, I get into these organizations. I like going to seminar, I like to hear when you have Indian people have this upstand to listen to what they say. Some of the people that talk English and Hindi. So when they say what they're saying in Hindi, they explain it so we know how to live.
Okay, you all got the inspiration from your parents and from what was taught by.
Well, remember we are temple people from the earliest too.
Okay, so that you all, your life was shaped through Hindu philosophy, right? Hindu philosophy and religious, right?
Yeah.
You all had a religious upbringing.
Okay.
So you will be able to make life comfortable,
Well,
because
today-
all your religion taught you.
Yeah. Well, today is the 25th and the 23rd, we had a prayer, Saturday.
Okay.
So
This
we
morning.
keep in touch with her now. Whatever
Okay,
they
with
call it.
God, right?
Yeah.
Now you have, when were you married?
70.
1970.
Yeah.
You have children?
Yeah.
How many?
4 children and an adopted child.
Can you
So
tell me,
5
um,
children.
Can you tell me, describe the big eldest one? Who was that person?
Well, the eldest one, he went to college.
Is that boy?
Yeah.
What's his name?
Roy Kissoon.
Okay. He went where?
He went to college in Fernando, private college. And the girl also went to private college. The others went to secondary school.
What secondary school?
Pleasantville. And the other last one went to, I think, using one of them school, college up there.
Okay, but they are employed, eh? The girls are there.
One of them in
I remember meeting one of your daughters. She used to be employed at Riversdale.
Right, she works there.
She's still there?
So she works up there. The other daughter works at Gulfview Medical. She's the accountant up there.
And
One of the boy, the crane operator, he drives these big long 50 feet trucks, something like that.
Okay.
And the other one, he working in a place with a tests and slings and, to see that it's correct.
Is he a security officer?
No.
Or security?
He does, they just check things that they will have to use in the rig or whatever
No,
to
no.
see if it's up to.
Okay, but that is
The other guy.
safety. That's
Yeah,
safety.
safety. Right. The
Not
other,
security, safety.
the other guy, the big guy, when he works with Point Research,
Okay, so you're the
So we pretty alright, and we have a beautiful house. And they,
Well, does he have a palatial building there?
and the girls and them have their own house. So we
And
are
you
happy now.
have a prosperous. This is a club. Is it a club? Eh?
No, there's a bar.
A bar.
Yeah, and come in, you drink, you think, you want to play something, well, you have an area to play all over.
Okay.
All those tables you see there, where we hold our games.
Well, I must commend you for the progress you have made from hardship.
Yes.
The hard.
I like the missing or the link between poverty and living a good life comfortable.
Yeah, but you passed through all these things.
Yeah.
So life, when you look back, what did you think?
Well,
What do you think?
It is nice, especially when you think back and you could talk to your children.
Yeah.
So they will understand, because now if they don't get this type of brand shoes they're wearing, it, I will go to school barefoot. So
Yeah.
there's a difference in how they will think, and that's true, or they will do that, or they went through that, And this is how it is now. Now they know about fast food, they know about everything nice, and we try to maintain it for them. Best
Well, you
we
try
can.
to live a standard.
Different type of life. When I say a different type of life, the environment is different,
But are they?
Where we will wear bus pants, they will need a jacket and tie to them.
Okay, but do they follow the Hindu culture?
Yes, we do.
Okay, so that has helped you.
Yes,
being,
help the children to stay together.
Okay, and life is, you live in a very prosperous life.
One of my daughter married a Muslim guy. She married a Hindu, they live a Hindu life. But the children's name is, Muslim.
Okay.
So, one of the incidents that happened when we went to
But
Miami.
anyway, life is good for them. Will the bride good for
It
everybody?
was very nice for them, but when we went to Miami, it wasn't so nice, because I had a Hindu name, and I allowed to pass, and they hold them because they carried Ali, and talk to them and carry them in this safe place and take them on. Then we come out. But my passport will have the information where I was a counselor. So they just asked me, where you used to work? And I said, I was a local down and counselor. You could cross it.
Because of their
name.
The Muslim name.
Yeah, the Muslim name. So when the fella explained to them, tell me about yourself. He said, well, I went to Hindu school when I was small. I went to a Catholic school, Benedict's, when I grew up. And I'm a policeman with the government, and that's it. So they said, well, all right.
He's a police. He's a policeman? Is he a police?
Yeah.
I don't know him, I should know him.
Yeah, died the big girl husband.
Okay.
With a big.
All right.
So we are very, very, very fortunate to come out of poverty so quick and to be among the best.
But did you go in the estate? You said you worked there.
Well, I didn't work in there. I went to help my mother, so from there I come back home.
But the people work very, very hard, eh?
Of course. Estate people work very hard. Cane work and lagoon work is extremely hard. Because the rain and sun is what you have to endure while you're working.
There's nothing like sheltering. There's nothing like a shed to shelter.
No. Nobody.
And they had to walk long distances?
Yes, because from here to Woodland is about 2 or 3 miles.
And then they had to walk home?
When you reach, they had to take a 5 and then start to work. And when they learn work, they walk, they come back.
And what time did they leave here?
Well, they had to leave early. 6 o'clock, I think, they reach. Because you had to beat the sun and all, walking. You could walk in the sun, but to walk along.
So that was a what? Was it an 8-hour work?
No, well, you work there until you make your own task.
Oh, it's a task. Oh, it's how much you work?
How about you? You say, well, we will do this block to go, and then we go home. And we will try to do it as fast as we can. And
well, they pay you the amount of, the amount of work you do. Right? They measure it. Because I got
well, in Lagoon, you don't measure, you just say, well, going from here today, boy. When we reach there, we pack up and we start to walk again back to home.
Oh, so the walking was harder than working?
Yes.
Or the walking was harder than walking?
And if your water finished before you're done work, well, you have to make it somehow.
But sometimes they drink the water from the...
Yes,
some
people drink river water.
Yeah. When the water finished, you have to drink the water from the pool and so on.
Thing, if you're really thirsty, but otherwise.
So what is it?
I'm very happy that our family, some of them are good tradesmen, and as you see the children and them are doing well. I have 2 of my grandchildren, one year in UAE, and one starting in September, what time did we start?
Oh, the fellow I met here.
The fellow was here. The same girl from Riversdale. The girl from Riversdale, the daughter. But she big daughter starting, she going to do law. Go to school again. So everybody line up nicely. And the children who could take it, we give it to them. And, so we all work in a team. Because my daughter will be here with me.
Okay, she helps.
Yeah, well, she actually do 99.9% of the work.
In addition to work in the school, she comes there.
Yeah.
Well, she's a clerk there.
No, she don't come. My big daughter.
But the big one, what does she do?
The one that works in the accountant.
Oh, she's a accountant. Okay. Well, I must commend you.
She's the finance manager there. She deal with the million.
What company is that?
Like the nursing home.
The nursing home? Okay. That's good. I must commend you for your achievement. I've known you so many years. And it's good to, I never knew you were a man of such standing until you related to me. Do you have anything else to say?
I want to say that it was nice having a friend like you. Because of you, I started this business. You helped me 100% to make sure that I get my license because you were a GP at that time. And you did all my homework for me. And you put everything in place for me. And since then, it's about 20-something years. I'm still there, and he was still good enough to always check me whether you're away or you're home. And now we become a family friend. So I want to say that I appreciate you very, very much for being so kind to me. I love you for that. And I think I couldn't get a better friend than you. Helpful to the max.
Okay, well, it was a oh yes, it was a pleasure speaking to you, and it was I'm very much delighted to know that I've brought some sort of progress in your life, initiated this business. I remember those days when you came to me, and in fact, I was working in charge of Tanapuna Court.
Yes,
remember that?
when you did tell the guy.
Yeah. Okay, and you came there to assist you, and so I did what I could have done. And I visited you many times at your home, and you're very accommodating. You visited me too, when Lyman and so on. Those were pleasurable days.
I'd like to mention one thing.
Yeah.
When you did writing the book, I was around with you.
Oh yes.
And I was the first guy you gave a book free.
Okay, yes.
That you write, and that was a wonderful book. It was really inspiring. That I knew I'm not living in that community anymore, but I could tell you actually everything that goes on there. You did write a wonderful book, and I was the first person you gave one to free. I'm very happy that you always remember me as a friend.
Okay, well, thank you. Those were good days. Someday again we shall meet, okay? We'll make a tour in this area, go down to Woodland if you have some time now.
Yes, anytime I will be available.
Do you have time now?
Yeah.
Okay. Okay, well, I've been speaking to Mr. Kissoon, a very good friend of mine. He's erudite. He's quite expressive, and his memory goes back to maybe 60 years ago. More than that.
Yeah.
More than 60 years.
70.
Maybe he is 79
Because
years.
I'm 79.
So we're going to make a tour of this, not this village, but the village that is most prominent here, because the sugar workers, the Indian people were employed in the La Fortuné estate, sugarcane field, and they grew their own rice and so on. And La Fortuné is really in the Oput Lagoon. That place is always inundated with water when it rains. So we'll be going there in a few minutes' time. Thank you, Mr. Kissoon. I am reporting from Romain in Trinidad and Tobago. That is, Romain is about 2 miles from San Fernando in Trinidad. So I'm signing off now. This is Sam Saroop.
Maybe if I tell you one of our transport was Bullcat.
Okay. Oh, you wish to carry on?
No, I just want to, don't come back to me as one of my transport that we used to enjoy. Any neighbor passes, oh, keep a ride down and jump up and do the cat.
But did you go to San Fernando with a bull and cat?
Not that way, but we go to the yard way.
Oh yes, that was the transport. Well,
so sometimes we're lucky we get a ride going down to the lagoon.
but did you visit the cinema there?
But
The cinema there?
yes.
What was that cinema?
The cinema has been destroyed.
What is the name?
What they are doing, they are just breaking it down, they are going to build something else.
What is the name of the cinema?
Venus.
Venus Cinema, okay. But did you frequent it?
Of course, that was the only recreation that we had.
Okay.
Without, instead, although we had a little cricket and football, but that was the top guys and them who could have played. But that was our estate ground, so the estate people didn't really travel that. But we liked it to play a little on.
But when you were working at PTSC, you all played football and they had an inter-department.
Yes, inter-department.
What? Competition?
Yes.